Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that. The segue you started pivoting into in terms of pointing to some of the work of the RETI Center, would love to dig into that a little bit more. CBOs play a pivotal role in preparing workers for vocational careers, deploying and maintaining climate technologies, and so would love to hear a bit more about what the RETI Center in particular is doing, particularly with a focus on, disproportionately disadvantaged communities who have disproportionately borne the brunt of the climate crisis.
Yeah, so the RETI Center is a nonprofit. We're based in Red Hook, Brooklyn, which was hit pretty hard by Superstorm Sandy, and has about 80% of our population is living in the Red Hook houses and public housing there. And when we started to think about our workforce training program, we had a pilot back in the early days in like 2016, but when we revisited the idea of bringing it together, we really wanted to be with the intentional idea of how to partner with the right people and make sure we had the right folks in the room, both industry, but also social services groups that can make sure that we could really support with that barrier reduction. Because the barrier reduction, as well as just access, is a huge obstacle. Many of us in the room have had mentors, or we've had access to networks that have brought us into spaces. Sometimes for students where I'm first meeting, this is their first time really thinking about the green economy or entering into renewable energy spaces. And that alone is just a huge opportunity to open a door. So when, as we were designing the program, starting around 2018, we wrote an assertive grant and really kind of hatching all these different stages out. So starting off with our social services program, our wraparound services, case management, and also outreach. Where are our students coming from? How are we connecting with them? We are a community or a nonprofit in the neighborhood that reaches out. We have a space there, but we also want to work with our other community-based organizations. Red Hook Initiative, Good Shepherd Services, which is a huge a program that spans throughout the city. Maybe some of you are familiar with them, but they work with transition high schools. They're working with folks that don't necessarily do well in the typical high school system and are looking for other career ideas. So we go in to those schools and we talk to people early on at career days and we say, hey, there's a whole other world out there and we need you. We need you. This is growing fast, and whatever area that you're interested in, there's an opportunity here. And when thinking about then designing the actual training program, we didn't want to just limit it to one skill. Like, okay, so you're going to come in and just do your OSHA and do solar and then expect that you're going to get a solar job. Because that's not all totally real right now. Like, it is possible, but it's not always the flow of the market, as Laura was saying, is up and down as we're thinking about these different industries. So while we want to base folks in, our program is a solar focused program, but that's kind of the avenue in which we're working with folks to understand just what this industry holds and what the potential is. So students come in, they work with Good Shepherd Services from the start to beginning. They have a case manager, they have career, they do resume building and career interview process, kind of all of that. And then they work, we partner with Brooklyn Solar Works, and we go over to Brooklyn Solar Works, to their warehouse for 3 days. And 2 days we work with a trainer who used to be another trainer at Pace University, so he has a ton of experience developing curriculum, but then also teaching solar himself. So we do that for a week. And then the third and final week is all about social innovation, clean tech, climate tech. It's about environmental justice. We bring in local environmental justice leaders just to talk about and to orient what all of this means. Maybe you don't want to be doing the physical labor, but there's a space for you in this industry. We also talk about the pathways, like what's coming next. Like, if you finish this training, doesn't automatically mean the goal is to get you into a job, and that is happening for a good number of folks. Right now we have about a 70% placement rate, which is stellar, but what a lot of folks are just not really that interested in doing the physical labor, but there's a space for them. We have relationships with community-based organizations. Red Hook Art Project is an example. Earth Matters is another that's doing composting. You might have seen Sandra around. There's a number of folks that we're building relationships, as well as employers. Employers are huge. There's a few folks that have really, or a few companies that have really come in. We invite them into the training. They meet with our students during the training session, and they present. Our trainees then get their business cards, and they're reaching out and they're connecting. I was at an apprenticeship event last night for offshore wind. I send out everything. I'm constantly, I tell my students, you're going to see from me all the time. And I was at the offshore wind, and three of them were there, and it's like, okay, this is their direction. So yeah, it's really about those partnerships. It's about the barrier reduction, and it's about inspiring folks. Once they come in the door, I know it's silly and it's the soft, cushy things, and we're in a tech room and you all are very serious, but it is for real. It is to open the mind, and you can just see the activation happening. And if we can do that more and more, and I invite you all, I would love to have them here. Like, they would just be eating this up. And I invite you all, if you have an interest in being a mentor or having an intern, or if you have a job, please share that with us and connect. I'll take business cards at the end. It's very important for us to make these relationships and build this network and this connection for people all over the place.
That's great. Thanks so much, Kaila. So you know where to find her. Please give her your business card. Would love to hear a little bit about what unions are doing. Lara, if you could share some